It's live. Hey everybody, how you doing? Good afternoon. I'm Lee. I am the host of Play Guitar podcast and guitar news and all this fun stuff. And today's another Friday. This is how we kick the weekend off here with our Academy Hangouts. This is Play Guitar News. We got some incredibly wacky news. If our time wasn't wacky enough, the news today, one story in particular, is going to show you how people are coping with this. We're going to check the chat out in just a second and be patient with it. I know I'm having some trouble with the chat on my end. It's just like everything's coming through at once. But let's go ahead and check the chat right now. Evan's here. How you doing, Evan? Dean is here. Where did my message go? I'm seeing this one. I know this is chat's acting funny today. Let's see here. Okay, Kevin's at the cabin tuning in. Great to see you, Kevin. Hope everything's going good. Brendan's here. Really glad it's Friday. I'm glad it's Friday too. This has been one of those weeks. We'll talk about that a little bit too. Let's see here. So Phil's here. Great to see you, Phil. And Cook says 1 for audio. Yeah, I have the audio figured out. So whenever you get a new platform like this, it takes a minute or two to work it out. And I think we got things close. I'm going to do some experimenting too. So we're going to do some news in a second. New pedal. Working on that today. We may go through that afterwards a little bit, do a little hanging out after that, talk about how things are moving forward. In the meantime, during the next 45 days, there's going to be a lot of changes going on here. So Dean says never received a notice from YouTube. Yeah, right before I went on, I tried to find it on YouTube channel and it wasn't coming up. But it says it's live. We're live. Okay. Evan's ready for some jamming. Yeah, we'll do a little jamming here too. David's here. Hey, David, got everybody hanging out today. Okay, so let's go ahead and do some of the news while we get folks streaming in here. Okay, let me get this a little bit bigger for everybody. Okay, so we're going to start off. We're going to take a look at this. This is called Meet the Slight, the modular guitar that fits inside a laptop case. Okay, pretty cool. I like it already. Innovative design, features onboard amp and effects, maple neck, and swappable pickups. Let's take a look in here. There we go. There's the Slight, S-L-I-T-E. And it looks like it's a 3-piece body, and the neck breaks down into 2 pieces. That is cool. It's actually it's got a form fill case. Let's take a look at it. French musical instrument company Reveho, R-E-V-E-H-O, has introduced the Slight, a modular collapsible electric guitar, built-in amp and effects. And there's the laptop case right there. Make sure everybody's seeing this. Well, yeah, looks like we can see it. So the Slight it's a plastic shell body with an aluminum frame. So it's a plastic guitar, fully collapsible 2-piece maple neck. So yeah, maple neck, plastic frame, aluminum on the inside. That's already very different. 24 fret fingerboard, adjustable truss rod. Would the adjustable truss rod be for the entire 2-piece neck? That'll be interesting. And fully adjustable bridges. There's also ability to swap out pickups, option for a built-in 15-watt amp with onboard speaker. And Revco is going to start it with a Kickstarter starting September 9th. You got the choice for a base package. Pre-order is for Ooh, $1,779. And if you want the one with the amp in it, that's $2,099. If you'd like that, if that looks like something that fits your needs, you can head over to Revejo.com. What do you think about that? That looks pretty interesting. I've seen a lot of these travel guitars before, and you start to see some of them try to keep the guitar in one piece. They'll get rid of the headstock, put the tuners down on the body. I've seen that a lot of times, and they'll have the collapsible the wings off of the body, kind of like this one does. But this is different. It's aluminum with plastic. I think it looks okay. That dude's having a good time, right? I guess that's where the amp would be, right in there. Kind of looks a little like a toy, like a game controller from here, but except for the neck. The neck looks pretty cool. Let's see. Dave says, "Wow, whoa, that's right. Too expensive for what it is." Hey, man, I don't know. It depends on if the amp is magical. Get out of here for travel guitar. Ouch. Hey, man, you never know. Let's see. Brendan says, "Gulp 2K," right? David says, "Things that come apart create a lot of problems. Too many moving parts." Yeah, and whenever I saw one of these, it was an acoustic guitar. And the acoustic guitar one that I saw had a hinge. So halfway, or like, I guess right where the body of the acoustic guitar and the neck come together, it hinged. And when you would put it in a suitcase, you I guess loosen the strings, they would loosen anyway. And so the neck would fold on top of itself. And so you've got the loose, so you have to take the strings off, or they've got the loose strings flapping all around. And I can just see trying to get that back in, especially if you're, winding around the tuning posts, how that would come undone. And that would be a ton of work just to get it back in playing order again. Let me see here. Matt says, "I'll pass on that one." Yeah, it's pretty neat though, They're working on it. They're trying to figure this out. I would think. Do you remember the old Steinberg guitar? David Gilmour played one. I think Eddie Van Halen played one for a little bit. They're like, there's no headstock. They're probably about that long. That may still be the best travel guitar. I don't even know if that one would fit in a duffel bag. Probably would. Never know. Okay, let's move on to the next. Here, the next thing we're going to take a look at is the 11. This is from Music Radar. This is the 11 best electric guitars under 1,000. Find your next guitar under $1,000. So let's see here. Find a great sub $1,000 or pounds electric guitar for playing rock, metal, blues, and beyond. So let's take a look at what do you guys think before we get started into this? What do you think for your taste and your style? What's the best electric guitar for under $1,000? There's some good ones. There's some really good ones. Let's see let's see if you guys have some ideas. Let's see here. Oh, Coke says, "I think I just saw Justin Johnson play that collapsible acoustic. I've been everywhere, man. Stayed in tune when he folded." Yeah, that's cool. You wouldn't think it would, though. Okay, so Evan says for best guitars under $1,000, Epiphone Les Paul Custom Pro is nice. Yeah, Epiphone was where kind of one of the things that I was going to. One of the companies I was going for first was for Epiphone. that mid-range price, which is now used to be like $500 to $800. Now it's like, I'd say like 700 to 1,000 is kind of where the mid-price guitars are. You got, I mean, you think about, you've got Fender, right, with the Mexicans, and then some of the mostly Mexicans, and then you've got some Ibanez stuff. You've got the Epiphone stuff, the SEs, the Paul Reed Smith SEs. Let's see here. So Phil says used made in Mexico Strat does the job. Yes, I've got a. It's not what it started off to be, but I've got this one's an American, but I've got the one, my black one I play all the time was a Mexican. The next is actually the only part left of it's the neck. So, but it was, I had to reduce some stuff. Let's see here. Brennan says, I think the Fender Player Strat looks good. And Coax is impressed with the Squire Strats for cheapest playability. Yeah, and there's some really, some really, really good Squires too. And there was like the one I keep talking about, it was like a double humbucker Squire. It was one of my favorite Strats that had two humbuckers in it ever. Brendan says this Squire classic vibes are pretty decent for the price as well. You get two for under $1,000. Yeah, that's right. So let's take a look at what these guys had to say here. Let's scroll down here. Let's see here. Okay, so they're going for the SEs, the Paul Reed Smith SEs, which is one of the ones that I was thinking about. So it's Korean made. You're going to see that a lot here. Okay, Korean made, do it all solid body, and you've got $779, $849 there, with a mahogany body with a maple top and a maple neck, rosewood fingerboard. Really nice looking guitar. You'd have to give yourself I know, I think it's with the binding and, some other things that's not the full Paul Reed Smith, but I think they're really good guitars. I've played a few of them, and I've got a student who's got one on the way too. Let's see. Number 2, they have here the Fender Deluxe Series Roadhouse Stratocaster. Okay, so is this I'm thinking because it's $824. Let's see here. It's alder body maple neck, which is what you want there for the most part. It's got vintage noiseless pickups, and it comes in Olympic white, Mystic ice blue, classic copper 3 color, sunburst. It's got let's see here, Mexican built. Okay, so that was the other place other group of Strats that I was thinking about. Mexican built, in that between $700 and $1,000 for a pretty decent guitar. When I first bought mine, that Mexican I had, that was one of the very first ones that had. There was a lot of issues, but the neck was really good. And over the years, I got rid of the whole guitar except for the neck. So let's see here. What else do they got? We've got the Yamaha. Okay, this is not what I would have thought. This is interesting. The Yamaha, here we go. Yamaha Revstar 502T. It's a retro vibed double cut guitar. Let's see. It's got P90s on it. Neat bridge. Let's see here. Some push pull stuff. Comes in black or green. Fairly weighty. So we're looking at Zounds has it for $559, but lists at $649. Kind of reminds me of like a Malcolm Young kind of guitar, a little bit there with the shape. Okay, so here we are next. ESP. Has anybody ever played it? Let me go back to the chat here. Has anyone ever played an ESP before? I have never played an ESP before. I'm really interested in that. Let's see here. Brendan says Squire classic vibes are pretty decent for pricing. Okay, we saw that one already. And Gloria says, I have a Squire Strat. I like mine pretty good. Yeah, I've seen a bunch of them that I like. And even 20 years ago, Squire guitars played pretty nice. Okay. So if anybody's played an ESP, let me know. I'd like to know about that. So let's see. The one they have is a Les Paul type here. And it's list for 9. Let's see. It's kind of a, let me get a little bit. There we go. Binding on it. It's got a different kind of inlay. Pretty neat. It's arguably the best guitar for playing metal under $1,000. Okay, there we go. It's right under $1,000 list, but you can find it at Sam Ash for $869, Sweetwater for $899. Wide pickup options and minus if you don't play metal. So I guess the pickups are metal type pickups. Guitars for playing metal tend to have certain characteristics: thin neck profiles, beefy humbuckers, high gain tone. Let's see here. Combining the best bits of a Les Paul, mahogany. So let's see. It's the flagship model of their sub-brand LTD. Comes in a huge variety of finishes and pickups. I was wondering about the pickups. Was it they have Duncans and active EMGs? So that looks like it has the Duncans in it. Pretty neat. All right, so here we go. This is what we were thinking about. Here's the Epiphone Les Paul Standard Plus Top Pro. So this was at a Blue Burst, I think. And I've played a lot of different Epiphone Les Pauls. And the one I owned was a very heavy guitar, much heavier than the Gibson Les Pauls I've owned. But then I've played some that weren't that heavy. Let's see what we got. So $599 for this. Maple top with a triple A flame maple veneer. Paw Ferro fingerboard. We've got a Pro Bucker 2 and a Pro Bucker 3, which is the Epiphone. And pickups. Bunch of different finishes. So we've got beautiful looks, fast playability, versatile coil tap tones. Some players perform more meat on the neck. So $599 at Sweetwater, $849 at Amazon. That's a big difference. It has the slimmest neck of any Les Paul we've ever had the pleasure of wrapping a fist around, a D shape, and almost flattens out on the back. If you're making from Whitley rock guitars to something more classic, this guitar setup could feel like home. Okay. All right. So we've hit most of the ones we've been talking about. What do we got here? We got a Gretsch. Okay, a Gretsch for under $1,000. This is the G5420T electromatic hollow body. That is a cool finish for it's like a metallic. That is awesome. $849. I really like that. If I was going to get a Gretsch, I think that's what I would get right there. $849. All of the blacktop Filtertron humbuckers. So it's got good humbuckers. You can get it in Fairlane blue, orange stain, aspen green. So the orange is what you normally see a lot of people play. Great color, plenty of Gretsch style and sound. Prepared to tweak the pickup heights, which you're going to do anyway on any of your guitars, and wider space bridge pickup would be nice. Okay, I like that. Here we go. Now we're getting into Ibanez. Now we've hit all the ones that we've been kind of. So an Ibanez for under $1,000, you're looking at the RG series, and this one is very similar to most that you've seen throughout the years. Best shred guitar of all time returns. This is listed at $1,000 and it sells at $1,000, $999.99. You're going to pay $1,000 for that guitar right there. Basswood 5-piece maple walnut neck, 24 frets. It's got the Ibanez humbuckers in it. 5-way switch. You've got an edge locking vibrato. And it comes in Desert Sun Yellow, Road Flare Red, Purple Neon, and White. So white gets you kind of close to the Steve Vai without the handle in there and without the neck, the extra stuff on the neck. Tonally versatile, speedy playability, reboot of one of Shred's most iconic guitars, not for players who prefer thicker nets, and the finishes won't be for everyone, most likely. Yeah, so these are like the gems without the extra stuff on it. And pretty neat. It's a Japanese Mage 2018 vintage, essentially a masterclass in everything that's good about shred and metal guitars. Okay, so we got RG, excuse me, and that's right at $1,000. All right, let me go back to the chat before we finish this up. We've got another one here. Okay, I want to go back, but I see a bunch of ESP stuff. I'm not putting that up. Okay. Evan says, I was thinking Gretsch, but never on ESP. And someone on Facebook says, I like the look of some of the more superstat ESPs. Yeah, I've never played one. I'm really curious about one. Glory hasn't played one. That ESP I'm digging. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. This build is a metal guitar. It doesn't look exactly like a metal guitar. Phil says I played an LTD 401 with active pickups. ESP is too expensive for what other guitars in that price range offer. Okay, that's cool. What about it? Did seem like it could have been a little bit better for the price? How does it feel? Does it feel cheap, or does it feel like I'm guessing it doesn't feel too solid unless you wouldn't have said that. Let's see here. Evan says the LP style looks strange with only 3 knobs. Brendan says I haven't played ESP, but that looks like a fun guitar. Yeah, it does. I have an ESP Eclipse E2. Well, how do you like it? Let me head over to. Let me get my Facebook up here because it's not putting it. So if you guys are on Facebook watching, there's a little thing at the bottom of the description where you can, if you want to be able to have your picture and your name up in the chat, you just have to agree to something there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to head over to Facebook and see if I can see the comments here. Bottom of the description where you can, if you want to be able to have your picture. That was just what I just said. No, I'm not seeing it here. Oh, well, maybe it's in, let me check one more place. There we go. So Jeffrey Turner says, I have an ESP Eclipse. Is it ELL or E2? And Chris is over on Facebook. He says, I like the look of some of the more Superstrat ESPs. So Jeffrey, tell me a little bit about your ESP. I'm very curious about what you think about that. Very curious. Okay, so that was Jeffrey. And let me hide that. Evan says, Blue Burst is pretty, but I prefer other bursts. Yeah. And David says, my next guitar will have to play metal. Yeah, I know it. I know it with that Ibanez should get you a good start. Yeah. Yeah. And let's see here. David says, with my limited experience, I like Ibanez. There's not much not to like. They play so easy. And if you're in hard rock, that's they're geared towards that sound. So if that's what you're looking for, it's a really good buy on a guitar. Evan says I was stubborn about Fender style, but I'm stuck on my Epiphone right now. Yeah. Matt likes the Gretsch. I did too. I thought that was really cool looking. And so Jeffrey says, I also have a Les Paul Standard, but the ESP is better made. Okay, so that's cool. That's cool. That's great. I'm curious because you see a lot of, I know ESP, didn't they do like the James Hetfield guitar? And they did a lot of they were kind of gearing towards the metal guys, but they were using a lot of like Gibson type designs too. So I always was curious, but I've never been actually in a place where I could try one. Says this is Jeffrey, that they have active pickups but can easily control with volume. Yeah, active pickups aren't you can still get a lot of different even classic sounds even from active pickups. You just have to use them right. So let's see here. Let's keep going. Let's see what we got. I know we got the Hagstrom here, the Tremor Viking Deluxe, which is a 335 style. Hagstrom's been around for a long time. So the price is $979, and Amazon has it for that price, for the list price. And sound of an overdriven hollow body electric. Yep, they feed back. They do. I had a few. They feed back real good. Something about that extra resonance by the larger body that excites us. Let's see. It delivers on that, 2 humbuckers, and it's got a weighty maple body. There's always a worry that semi-acoustics can turn to mush and low end when they're amplified. Sometimes they do. We found that it retains clarity across the board, even high gain amps. So $1,000 for if it's a good 335 style guitar is a pretty good deal, because they can get up there. They can really get up there. Although I know the Epiphone Dot, I had one of those for a while. It was a custom shop Epiphone Dot, and it was very heavy and it was very neck heavy. I always wanted to go forward. So, and I've had some 335s that weren't that way. So if you didn't want to go the Epiphone route, this could be a way to go. What do we got here? A Guild. I did not think a Guild was going to be in here. Let's see here. Okay. Because says I take that Hag my Hondo too for sure. Yeah. That looked like a cool guitar, man. That was awesome. Okay. Let's take a look at this Guild. It's a Starfire 2. I think Buddy Guy played a Starfire 2, if I'm not mistaken. Heritage class and quality from this mid-priced hollow body Jazzer. $899. It's mahogany body, mahogany neck. Rosewood fingerboard. 2. Let's see here. Superb pickups. Okay. Great choice for jazz players. Comfortable hollow body playability. Feedback can be a problem. Not one for heavier style. So I wonder how thick that is. Is it a really serious? So definitely not the one that Buddy Guy was playing. I'm mistaken. I don't think his was a full hollow body that this one says. 2 LB1 humbuckers. So Starfires and attracting players like Dwayne Eddy, George Benson, Buddy Guy, Muddy Waters, Lightning Hopkins, Robert. This is okay. The Starfire 2 is a 419 millimeter, 16.5 inch wide, 16 inches wide. Goodness gracious. It's got the Florentine cutaway. Doesn't have a full center block, but there's a largest block that connects the top to the back. So it's kind of like a little bit of a 335, but not all the way through. It's pure Gibson, no master volume. Sounds superb, adding clarity to the hollow body frame. How many people here have played hollow body guitars? And what's your take on them? I have a Peerless hollow body. That's the one that I like to play. And it was about like $1,200 guitar. And it is really, really nice. It says only 20 frets on that Guild. Yeah, my hollow bodies may be about that too. Maybe 21, 20, 21. He says at that side, you don't even need to plug it in. You get you an acoustic guitar at that point. I think this may be Jeffrey. Says, I enjoyed my Honer SE 335. Yeah, they're full hollow body guitars are a whole different animal, man. And it's funny as a rock guy or a blues guy where we pick, you tend to see people picking around, kind of right behind the middle pickup and, go back and forth. But behind, right here and then back here if they want to really dig in, right? But I found a lot of these hollow bodies, when you're picking, the farther up you get to the neck, in fact, you see some people pick right above the frets. That's where it starts to really get that top moving there, and it's down round. It's really is like playing a different instrument a good bit. Matt loves his Epiphone Sheridan. Yeah, it's a Sheridan and Sheridan 2s are both very good guitars. I like them. Evan says ES and Strat are what I need to complete the stable. I think. Yes, you need to complete it. Definitely. Oh, it was Chris. Chris did this. He said, I enjoyed my Honer SE 335 and says, probably shouldn't have sold it, but it wasn't getting played. Right. Okay. Let's see here. All right. Back to the guitars. And then there's the Guild Starfire 2 we're talking about. Okay, number 10, Charvel. Pro Mod SoCal Style 1. And this is the guitar that I saw the most of growing up. Kramers were really, really what weren't around. You couldn't get them as easily as the Charvels did. So you'd see a lot of these guitars. $8.99 Alder two-piece maple. Awesome. You got a Duncan JB, which is, I think, one of the first things I'm going to do when I get my gear back is I have these Duncan 36th anniversary pickups in my Les Paul, and I think I'm going to go back to my Duncan JBs just for fun. And has a direct mount Seymour Duncan 59 in the neck here. I think the neck I used to have is the Gibson that came with it. I may go back to those just for fun. It's got the no load tone, Floyd Rose on it. So you get it in rocket red, neon pink, matte blue frost, satin black, and snow white. Those are fun guitars. Superb speedy playability, shred ready tones, super strat vibe, doesn't clean up well as other coil splittable guitars. Yeah, and it's because you got the JB. The JB does clean up, but you have to really turn it down there. And it's a Trumbucker. This one's the TB6 distortion in the bridge, and a SH6 N in the neck, wired through. So they'd set up there. I get is the TB6 the JB Trumbucker version? Let's find out real quick. Oh, that's the Duncan distortion pickup. So I guess they have different packages that you can use. Some came with the JB and a 59, and then the other ones, this one says you got the distortions in there too. Okay. Yeah. That one would be good. That's a straight ahead hard rock guitar there. Okay, now we're talking about it. Now we got a Fender Offset Series Duosonic HS. Those are neat looking. I've never played one. Those are neat looking, like the humbucker and the bridge too. $600, $599, Alder and maple. Short scale, great for beginners too. So yeah, the strings may be a little loose for some people. That's nice. And there we go. So we're at the end of that one. What do you think? What was your favorite of all of these? I'll go back to the top and work our way down. This was interesting for me. So we've got the SE Custom 20, Paul Reed Smith. We've got the Fender Deluxe Series Roadhouse Strat. We've got the Yamaha Revstar, Coke's favorite. The ESP LTD Les Paul looking deal. The Epiphone Les Paul standard. I like that. The Gretsch G54. That is a cool looking guitar. Then we've got our Ibanez RG. Hagstrom 335 looking thing. Viking Deluxe. The Guild Starfire 2 hollow body. We get the Charvel, SoCal, and the Duosonic. That's it. What was your favorite out of all of those? The Gretsch. Yep. Gretsch. Coast going for the vomit color guitar. Evan says the Les Paul. And Cook says, ooh, that Duosonic does look cool. It looks cool. That is pretty neat. And Evan says, I'll be looking at the Epi for sure when I'm looking at an ES. It'll be a while before I do. Yeah, you can get lucky with those, but don't pass up the Sheridans, the Epiphone Sheridans. You can get the same things out of it, and they're nice guitars, and they're different. Same idea, but very different guitars. Mark says, I like the Fender Sonic, but not any of the colors. I think the one I like the looks of the most was the Gretsch. But David he's Ibanez all the way. Yeah, Ibanez looks cool too. Yeah, and Coke says, I want to play the Duosonic, but it passes the looks test for him. Okay, let's move on. We got some more news to get to here. Fender announces 4 new guitar and bass effects pedals, including a wah. So we got the Treadlight wah, which is a volume and expression. Also, acoustic preverb and bass distortion arrive soon. So let's see here. So this looks like the wah. Let's see. We're going to start off with acoustic preverb, digital reverb with 3 unique settings: high fidelity preamp, anti-feedback notch filter, which is great for acoustic on stage, tilt EQ, LED backlit knobs, and let's see here. Reverb pedal is the number 1 effect for acoustic guitar players, and so we got a reverb pedal for acoustic players. All right. Ooh, that's a lot of knobs. Trapper bass distortion, Chris. 2 independent distortion circuits, crossover circuit to serve clean, low, and true bypass. LED knobs, backlit knobs, awesome, lightweight. And so you can stack the 2 distortions for bass players. Awesome. Here's the Treadlight wah. And it's got a pick and it's got a name. So they haven't said much else about that. And then we've got the volume expression pedal of the same deal with just a different color. So Fender's got some new stuff coming out. Here's the one that I wanted to get to today. And I saw this earlier in the week, and it was awesome. Steve Lukather, y'all know Lukather, right? Toto played on on the Michael Jackson. A lot of the Michael was it I forget which one. It was like Billie Jean or one of those things. So he fires back at the neighbor's leaf blower with insanely loud 7 a.m. guitar solo. The Toto guitarist holds the line in pajama clad guitar gardener face off. So there he is in his backyard. They've got the they've got the jumping, the kids jumping stuff. There's the dog, and he's wheeled his amp out there to wage war with his neighbors, waking him up at 7 a.m. with their leaf blowers. So if you've ever read any interviews with Steve Lukather, you know the session great. He doesn't pull any punches, and he takes that out on his neighbors. So this is on. Let's just. I don't want to play the sound, but let's do it. That's enough. You hear that? He's had it. We all had it, right? Okay. And Joe Bonamassa said, that's the greatest, Peter Frampton. They also owe you money for your performance. All mowers and blowers need to become rakers and takers anyway. He's playing his signature Ernie Ball music band guitar, and I want to know what signature his pajamas are. Okay. So let's head on. I'll get out of here. I'm going back to the chat here for a minute. Okay, so now let's see. We got one more left to do, and this is Paul McCartney reveals how Jimi Hendrix inspired him to buy his favorite electric guitar. So Paul plays bass, and he plays lots of piano, and he plays guitar, right? And here's the guitar you see him with the most. I've seen him with the most, and it's Epiphone Casino. And he's got a new interview with GQ. This one's from Guitar World. He has an Epiphone Casino with one of his favorites. He says it's not the best guitar, but I bought it in the 60s. Bought it in a shop at Charing Cross Road, and asked the guys if they had a guitar that would feed back because he liked Jimi Hendrix. So they gave him a semi-hollow body, right? That feeds back easier. So he had a lot of fun with that. He played that. He played the solo on Taxman. And it's also the guitar he played Paperback Writer with. So elsewhere in the story, McCartney shows off his 54 Butterscotch Fender Telecaster. And he's got a Richie Sambora acoustic Taylor, which he played with on his newer stuff. He also chooses his favorite of his own guitar solos. What immediately comes to mind is the Taxman solo. I think it's pretty good. Yeah, so the Beatles were back, especially towards the end. They were just trying to get everything out. So you had lots of people playing lots of different parts, drums, bass. They're shuffling things around there. So, okay, so let's head over here to the chat. Got some chat to. Okay, so we're going back to Lukather thing now. Mark says the other neighbors must have really appreciated it. When my neighbor cranks on the lawnmower at 6:45 a.m. on Saturday, I really do consider setting my amp out the window. And he just did. He lost it. He lost it, man. He sure did. That was great. That was great. I enjoyed that. I saw that video the other morning. And Josh is here. Good to see you, Josh. Wonderful to see you. Brennan says 6:45 a.m. is too early for anything except for coffee or sleep. But your amp's always available if you need it. Okay, so that's the end of guitar news for the week. Just something fun to do as we're getting ready for the weekend. I hope you all had a great week. My week has been super swamped. So if anybody has sent an email or put a post up, or I'll be getting to that over the weekend. My move, the best killer 2000 across the room. My move is coming along. So everything went into high gear today. Actually, this week I've been back and forth with all the people that you do have to get back and forth with to get things going on. So behind on everything this week, just dealing with the move, and want to talk a little bit about how we're going forward. So hey, that's right. Zap. I know I need to get some sort of, I need to get some time so I could really play up the best killer 2000. There it is right there. So what we're going to be doing moving forward, since I'm getting swamped, is for the next week or two, I'm going to scale back to just Saturdays and Mondays. So Saturday is going to be guitar talk, and Mondays is going to be the live podcast. And I'll be doing it at least for next week, maybe for the next week after that. Then when it comes down to really having to get a bunch of stuff together, I'm sure I'm going to have to just kind of dip out for a while. Right. And that at that point, for the few weeks where I'm actually moving and then setting things up, it will only be like surprise streams when I find I have some time, and I'll probably record a few podcasts ahead of time, just audio podcasts to put out for those 3 weeks. But I'll give everyone ample warning before that happens. And I'm going to put a post up about this too as well. I'll put like a sticky post in the Facebook group, and also with the with coaching. So for coaching students, I'm going to try. I'm going to try and keep it going as much as I can. So for the next few weeks, just business as normal. When we get down to me moving, I have a couple of options. I could take a week off, or I could have I could actually do the lessons, but just respond via email. I won't have video set up through a lot of the transitions. So the closer we get to that, the more we'll figure it out. Evan says, shame to have less live chats, but it's great that you've got the move going full steam ahead. Thank you. In fact, I wanted to talk to you about that because it's some good news on that. Let's talk about, let's get rid of Paul here. So what we're going to be doing is, Evan says, worth the trade-off is what I'm saying. Yeah, thank you. And I think once I get there and get everything set up, I'm going to have it set up in a way that we'll have actually a lot more. And so here's my idea: the 2-day-a-week thing, having 2 planned days. So I have like an interview day, guitar talk, and then the podcast day there. Those will be the 2 things, and those will stay at 4. I think they may move around. But when I have my room set up and I'm able to not have to deal with scheduling, where I can just go in there, I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff at night, work, just getting tones and playing a lot, working on some songs and stuff like that. I don't get to play a whole lot. So I'm going to be doing a lot more hangouts in the evenings. Pretty much whenever I can. This has been pretty cool. I've been just to have something to take my mind off of things a little bit. I told you I've been kind of remembering about my bunch of old Boss pedals and how much fun I used to have with them. So I got this. It's wired up, so I can't get any closer. It's a Boss TU2, and this is the distortion pedal that Prince used. John Frusciante, I never can say his name right. The guy from the Chili Peppers. That's the one he used. And I'm having a whole lot of fun. All I did was just plug it in front of my pedal board. I'm not using I'm using a delay, I think. That's what I'm using. And it's got this thing. It's a saturated sound. Of course, you don't have to run it that way. But there's something that these pedals do, and there's a reason why Joe Satriani and Steve Vai use DS1 type pedals. This is DS2. It's not exactly the same, but it's similar to that. And it's something that it does something. It has a sort of compression to it that brings the notes out front. So even if you're playing fast, let's see here. Even you're not playing tons of distortion. Even when you're not cranking the distortion, something about this brings it features the guitar better than a lot of these other pedals that I've been using. They have more of an organic kind of sound. This one doesn't worry about organic so much. It just really brings pedals in your face. And if you think about the people that are using it, and especially when Prince, if you guys ever just take a look at some of Prince's concerts when he gets to really play some guitar, and he's just playing a clean amp with some Boss pedals cranked up, and it gets this sound that I find very desirable. So and that's why Joe Satriani, Steve Vai, they found the same thing. When you hit, and actually George Lynch uses a DS1 too for Dokken. It really makes it easy for for a lead guitar to be featured. This one also, if you use it as a really heavy saturated guitar, it has a second mode, which, take a listen to this. It bumps the mids up almost like you have a wah-wah pedal on and it's notched to a certain frequency. So I'm having a lot of fun with this. And what I'm going to do when we get to new places, I'm going to have a camera set up, a stand-up desk with a pedal board that's raised up high that I can swap in pedals in and out with a separate camera. And so we're going to be making a lot of different tones and doing recording and all those things. And I'm going to set it up so it's really easy for me to share it live at the same time, so we can have questions, talk about different stuff. And Coke said, "Yeah, I know it was low. I didn't realize I was going to do this, so I didn't really set the levels ahead of time." But anyway, so let's go back. We have Josh says, "Congrats on the move, exciting stuff." Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of work, but when we get through it, it's going to be a lot better. Things are going to be a lot better. Dave Reed says, "I would just shut it down for a few weeks during the move. We'll have enough on your mind during that time. We all understand." Yeah, I'm going to, there's going to be definitely a few weeks where I'm going to have to do that, but I'm going to try and have some podcasts just to keep that going. And Evan says, "Do what you got. We're on your side, Lee." Awesome, man. Thanks. And Evan says, "Recording." Yeah. We're going to. And Josh says, "Yeah, it sounds like Pink Floyd a little bit." Yeah, it does. It does sound, it has a very David Gilmour sound to it. When you don't have to, even though this is a distortion pedal, you don't have to crank it all the way up. There's other tones in it as well. And it's the character of the pedal that I'm interested in. So I'm having fun with it. Yeah. And then Evan says, "I'm getting a friend of mine started on home recording." Very exciting. Awesome. That's great. Okay, everybody, we're at 5:04. I'm going to go ahead and call it. Looking forward to your videos for the coaching this weekend. Looking forward to getting that going tomorrow. And don't know what we're going to do for tomorrow for Guitar Talk, but we might be talking about pedals tomorrow. I don't know. That's kind of what's on my mind lately. But after the move, I'm going to start doing a lot more interviews and having that happen, if possible, at that time live. If not, I may record stuff and then have that be part of the live thing. A lot of ideas, a lot of new stuff happening. And time for funk jamming. That's right. And Evan says, coaching video tonight. Shucks, I got a strap on. Oh, man, that'll be fun. Friday night with the Silver Burst. Right. Okay, everybody. Well, you have a great weekend. Thanks for hanging out with me this afternoon. That was a lot of fun. And I will see you all tomorrow. And we'll talk a little bit more about what's coming up. I have actually between now and then, I'll have a little bit more to tell you.